Pay close attention because I'm about to reveal the unvarnished truth about relationships. They're a game, and the sooner you grasp the rules, the better you'll play. If you've ever felt lost, confused, or powerless when dealing with women, that changes today. You have two options: remain clueless and stuck, or step up and learn what truly works. What I'm about to share is the raw, unapologetic truth about how minds work, hers and yours, and how you can take control in ways others dare not discuss. Want her to be obsessed with you? Want her to start chasing you instead of you always pursuing her? Then it's time to stop wasting energy on useless advice and focus on what actually matters. Psychological power. The kind that goes deep and changes the game for good. Here's the thing, women aren't the delicate, innocent creatures people pretend they are. They have their own strategies and moves, and trust me, they use them every single day to get what they want. Think you're playing fair? Think again. This is a battlefield, and it's time to gear up with the knowledge that will completely flip the script. Maybe you're thinking, is this right? Should I even be learning this? Let me stop you right there. You can worry about right and wrong after you win. The truth is, people who get ahead don't follow the rules. They rewrite them. What I'm going to show you isn't about being manipulative just for the sake of it. It's about being in control, never feeling powerless, and making sure you're the one calling the shots. This isn't for people who want to play it safe or keep being nice. This is for those who are done feeling overlooked, done playing small, and ready to step into the kind of confidence and control they deserve. If that's you, get ready because I'm about to open the door to a whole new way of thinking. One most people are too scared to even acknowledge. Once you see it, there's no unseeing it. In fact, this approach aligns with something much older: Stoicism. The Stoics believed in mastering your emotions and keeping your inner world steady, no matter what chaos surrounds you. And guess what? That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's about learning how to control your feelings, keeping your composure, and making decisions from a place of strength. It's not about reacting to everything, but choosing your moves carefully and strategically. When you live by these principles, you're not just playing the game, you're mastering it. Are you with me? Because this is just the beginning. Before we dive in, take a moment to subscribe if you're ready to transform how you handle relationships, using the power of Stoicism. Every video is a step toward mastering your mindset and building stronger, more meaningful connections. All right, let's dive in. 1. Triggering emotional responses. Let me break it down for you in a way that's easy to understand. If you want to influence a woman's mind, forget about logic. Seriously, throw it out the window. Facts, reason, or well-thought-out arguments aren't going to get you anywhere. Why? Because women don't process logic the same way men do. What actually drives them are emotions. And if you want to take charge, that's what you need to focus on. Think about it. Have you ever tried to explain yourself during an argument, laying out everything in a clear, rational way, only for her to still not get it? That's because it's not about what makes sense. It's about what she feels. Women are wired to respond to emotions, not logic. And here's the kicker. They've probably been using this against you without you even realizing it. They'll act upset, play the guilt card, or pretend to be hurt to shift the power in their favor. Ever found yourself confused after an argument, wondering how it escalated so quickly or why you feel like the bad guy? That's emotional control at work. But don't worry, it's not your fault. It's how the game is played. The good news? You can flip the script. The key is to trigger her emotions first. Keep her guessing, keep her on edge, and watch how the dynamic changes. Here's the truth. Logic doesn't create attraction, but unpredictability does. When you make her feel, whether it's excitement, happiness, jealousy, or even a little fear, you hold the reins. Emotions are addictive, and if you can create those highs and lows, she'll start associating them with you. That's how you stay on her mind. Here's a pro tip. Learn to create emotional spikes. This means mixing things up. Give her attention and make her feel special one moment, then pull back and act distant the next. That push and pull dynamic keeps her off balance, always seeking your validation. She'll stay emotionally hooked because she'll never know what's coming next. It's that unpredictability that keeps her invested, always wanting more. Ready to see the difference? It's time to start playing smarter. Let me hit you with some truth most people are too scared to say out loud. Women have their own agenda in relationships. They want to stay in control by keeping you emotionally tied up. But here's the deal. If you can figure out how to play with her emotions before she starts messing with yours, you've already won. Forget trying to reason your way through it. Emotions are the battleground. And if you learn to dominate there, you'll never lose. Now, let me weave in something deeper here, the Stoic mindset. The Stoics understood that our emotions can be our greatest strength or our biggest weakness. They taught us to stay in control of our inner world, no matter what happens outside of us. So, while women might be playing the emotional game, you're not going to lose yourself in the chaos. You're going to stay calm, composed, and strategic, just like a Stoic would. Imagine it, just like the Stoics, you don't let the emotional storms around you throw you off course. You recognize emotions for what they are, temporary waves, and choose how you respond. You're in control of your own feelings, which means you can better influence the situation without getting caught up in it. You learn to respond, not react. That's what gives you the power. And when you combine that level of control with the ability to create emotional spikes, now you're playing a whole different game, one where you're always a step ahead. Now, let's go even deeper. If you want to truly stay in control, you need to understand and use her fears. Yeah, it sounds harsh, but the reality is this. Fear is one of the most powerful motivators, and guess what? Women have fears just like everyone else. Fear of being abandoned, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. These aren't just random insecurities, they're real vulnerabilities. And when you know how to tap into them, you gain the upper hand. Most people avoid talking about this because it feels too intense or dark, but we're not here to sugarcoat things. You either control the situation or you let it control you. The choice is yours. Here's how it works. Women's fears run deeper than they let on. Once you figure out what she's afraid of, you can use that knowledge to keep her emotionally and mentally hooked. Let me give you an example. Think about the character Christian Grey in 50 Shades of Grey. Why does Anastasia stay so obsessed with him? Sure, he's rich and attractive, but that's not the full story. What really keeps her coming back is the way he plays with her fear of abandonment. One moment he's pulling her in, making her feel special. The next, he's distant, leaving her unsure of where she stands. That constant uncertainty, wondering if she's good enough, fearing she might lose him, keeps her emotionally attached. It's not just love or attraction, it's the emotional roller coaster he creates that makes her cling to him even more. Here's the takeaway. If you want to stay in control, make her feel like losing you would be the worst thing that could happen. When she's afraid of that, you've got the power in the relationship. Keep her on her toes, and she'll keep chasing you. Let me make one thing clear. I'm not telling you to go out and terrorize anyone. That's not the goal here. What I am saying is this. You need to understand what drives her behavior, and like it or not, fear is a big part of it. If you can subtly tap into her fears, you're the one who controls the flow of the relationship. Now let's tie this back to something that's not often discussed, the Stoic mindset. The Stoics understood that our emotions, especially fear, can be either a tool for growth or a trap. They recognize that while fear is a natural reaction, we don't have to let it control us. Instead, we can confront it with wisdom and reason, mastering our own emotions before we try to influence others. In relationships, this Stoic approach gives you an edge. While you're aware of her fears, you don't get swept up in the emotional chaos. You stay centered, clear, and strategic, knowing that the emotional triggers you use are tools, not weaknesses. By applying the Stoic principle of apatheia, freedom from emotional disturbance, you can act with control, not out of fear or desperation. This creates a sense of security and strength that others can't ignore. So, while fear might be a powerful motivator, it's your response to it that makes all the difference. Use it wisely and with Stoic control, and you'll keep the power in your hands. Now, let's talk about a method that's practically guaranteed to keep her hooked, the push-pull technique. It's simple, but wow, is it effective? Here's how it works. You give her attention, make her feel special, and then you pull back. You suddenly go quiet or distant. That constant back and forth creates emotional tension. And let me tell you, emotional tension is like a drug. It's addictive. She won't even realize it, but she'll keep coming back for more, desperate for your attention. Here's the thing about women. They thrive on emotional ups and downs. Give her too much attention and she gets bored. Give her too little and she feels neglected. But when you master the art of balancing both, when you keep her guessing, you create a psychological loop that she can't break out of. She'll spend all her time wondering what you're thinking, what you're going to do next, and that emotional tension will keep her focused on you. The push-pull technique isn't just a game, it's a strategy. It builds that perfect mix of unpredictability and excitement that keeps her emotionally attached. And the best part? While she's busy analyzing your every move, she'll stop thinking about her own needs and start focusing on you. That's the kind of control that keeps her coming back. Let me break it down with a real-life example. You probably know the on and off saga of Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. That relationship was like a roller coaster, always full of twists and turns. Why did it captivate everyone? And more importantly, why did it last so long? Simple. The push-pull dynamic. Justin would go all out, making Selena feel like the center of his universe. Public displays of affection, grand gestures, the works. That's the push. Then, out of nowhere, he'd pull back. Maybe he'd get involved with someone else, or just leave her hanging, unsure of where they stood. That emotional whiplash kept the relationship alive in the media, and more importantly, in Selena's mind. She's even mentioned how hard it was to move on, always wondering, what if? That's the power of push-pull. It creates this loop of uncertainty, hope, and doubt mixed together. Selena kept trying to figure things out, stuck in a cycle that left her emotionally tied to Justin long after things should have been over. This isn't just drama. It's a masterclass in emotional entanglement. Now, how can you use this in your own life? It's simpler than you think. Start with the push. Make her feel special. Compliment her. Take her out. Show her she's important to you. Give her your attention and make her feel like she's on top of the world. Then, when she's feeling great, pull back. Be distant. Take longer to reply to her texts or act busy. This sudden change will throw her off balance and she'll start chasing that feeling again, wondering why you've pulled away. Here's the key. Never let her feel too secure. As soon as she feels like she's got you all figured out, she'll lose interest. Women crave excitement and unpredictability, even if it's emotionally confusing. That's why the push-pull technique works. It creates a cycle of emotional highs and lows that keeps her hooked. But here's where the Stoic perspective brings this whole thing into sharper focus. The Stoics understood that emotions, especially ones like uncertainty or fear, can be powerful tools, but only if you remain in control of them. In relationships, when you understand the psychology of push-pull, you're not playing mind games out of malice. You're playing with awareness. The Stoic concept of apatheia, emotional freedom, allows you to remain calm, composed, and unaffected by the emotional chaos you're creating. This gives you a deeper sense of power. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca spoke about mastering your own desires and emotions to maintain inner peace. You're not letting her unpredictability or emotional tension dictate your mood. Instead, you are using the situation to remain steady and wise while she remains caught in the emotional current. This is how the Stoic approach to relationships differs from impulsive behavior. It's not about being cold or detached, but about understanding and controlling your emotional responses to navigate the highs and lows effectively. So, don't be the guy who's always available, always predictable. Be the one who keeps her guessing, always wondering what's next. That's how you keep her emotionally invested. Think of it like Selena and Justin. The world couldn't look away, and neither could they. You set the rhythm, and she'll follow your lead while you, like a Stoic, stay calm, collected, and in control of your own emotions. All right, before we jump back in, if you're finding this helpful, hit that like button. It helps YouTube share this with more men who need it and keeps the content coming. It's quick, free, and it makes a real difference. Thanks. Let's get back to it. Ready for the next level? Let's talk about how to subtly shift her confidence in your favor. All right, listen up. You've been doing it all wrong, and that's why you keep striking out. Women aren't looking for someone who's easy to win over. They're looking for men who know how to challenge them just enough to keep them wanting more. I'm not talking about being rude or cruel, but using smart, subtle moves that make her second-guess herself and keep her craving your approval. Think about it. Women get tons of attention from guys trying to win them over. But what happens when you don't just fall all over her, when you're not constantly chasing her? That's when she starts to question herself, and that's when you've got the power. It's not about being mean, it's about being smart and strategic. Take Chuck Bass from Gossip Girl, for example. He's not the nice guy type. He knows exactly how to mess with Blair Waldorf's emotions, making her feel both wanted and unsure of herself. One moment he's showering her with compliments, and the next, he's throwing in a little criticism. It's not just for TV, it works in real life because it keeps women on their toes. When you subtly make her doubt herself, you get her to depend on you for validation. She'll start wondering what she can do to make you happy, and that's where you start to control the situation. It's all about creating a balance. She's not insecure, but she's looking to you for approval. Here's how you can do it. Start with something nice, a genuine compliment that makes her feel good. Then right after, follow it up with a small, subtle critique. For example, tell her she looks amazing, but maybe her outfit isn't the best choice for where you're going. This creates that back and forth tension within one conversation. She feels good, but then wonders if she's done something wrong, and that doubt makes her come back for your approval. Another trick. Show her interest, then pull away. Give her attention, make her feel special, and then suddenly act distant. She'll start wondering what she did wrong, and then try to win your attention back. This creates a situation where she's constantly trying to prove herself to you, which keeps her emotionally invested. Now, let's bring in the Stoic perspective. The Stoics, especially figures like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, were all about controlling their emotions and remaining unmoved by the outside world. The power to shift someone's confidence is less about manipulation and more about maintaining your own inner balance. You see, the Stoic idea of apatheia, emotional freedom, teaches that true strength comes from remaining unaffected by emotional fluctuations. When you subtly push and pull her, you're actually controlling your own emotional response to the situation rather than reacting impulsively or emotionally. Instead of constantly chasing approval or seeking to validate your own worth through her attention, the Stoic approach is about being grounded in your own self-sufficiency. When you give and then pull back, you're creating emotional dynamics, but you're not losing control over yourself. In fact, you're using wisdom to strategically engage her while maintaining your own emotional stability, which in turn draws her toward you, creating a situation where she's constantly seeking your validation while you remain unmoved and steady. This is where the true power lies. By mastering the balance between challenge and approval, you can subtly shift her confidence, making her emotionally dependent on your validation, while you stay in control, grounded, and emotionally steady, just like a Stoic would. So, keep her on her toes, always wondering where she stands with you, but never let it throw you off balance. Your inner calm and self-control are your greatest strengths, and that's where the true power dynamic lies. Keep the rhythm steady, and she'll follow your lead. Let's talk about the power of mystery. Women are drawn to men who are hard to figure out, who don't put all their cards on the table. Keeping her guessing about your thoughts, feelings, and next moves creates a sense of intrigue. When she's unsure, she's hooked, and that curiosity keeps her coming back for more. The goal isn't to crush her spirit, but to create a dynamic where she values your opinion and seeks your validation. When you make her second-guess herself, you position yourself as the one she turns to for reassurance, giving you control in the relationship. Now, here's something that might be tough to hear, but it's true. Emotional availability makes you weak in the eyes of women. Society has fed us the idea that we should be open, share our feelings, and be vulnerable. But in reality, women don't respect men who wear their hearts on their sleeves. They respect men who keep their emotions in check, who don't break down under pressure, and who maintain a sense of mystery. When you're too emotionally available, you become predictable and, frankly, boring. Women aren't attracted to guys who are always there, always sharing, and always open. What they want is the thrill of the unknown, the challenge of trying to figure you out. Think about James Bond. He's the perfect example of a man who keeps his emotions controlled. Bond doesn't sit down and pour his heart out to anyone. He's emotionally tough, and that's what makes him irresistible. Women want to be the one who cracks his tough exterior and sees his vulnerable side. But if he opened up too easily, he'd lose that charm. Here's the truth. Women are emotional beings, and they need someone strong to lean on. If you're always sharing your feelings and being vulnerable, you just become another emotional burden for her to carry. Instead, you need to be the rock, the one who can handle her emotions while keeping yours in check. This doesn't mean you should bottle everything up, but you have to be smart about when and how you share your feelings. Give her enough to know you're human, but never give everything away. Keep her guessing, and that emotional tension will keep her engaged. When you do share your emotions, make sure it's in a way that shows strength, not weakness. Share stories about challenges you've overcome, about times you've stayed strong when things got tough. This shows that you're a capable man who can handle whatever comes your way, including her emotions. That's what makes you truly irresistible. Now, let's introduce a bit of Stoic wisdom here. The Stoics were masters at emotional control. Marcus Aurelius, for example, taught that a person's inner peace should not be disturbed by external events or people's reactions. They believed in the power of apatheia, a state of being unaffected by emotions, where the individual remains strong and centered despite external turmoil. In the context of relationships, this Stoic approach is crucial. By keeping your emotions in check and maintaining a sense of mystery, you emulate the Stoic virtue of self-control. You're not allowing your emotions to dictate your actions or give others the power to sway your behavior. This creates a balance of strength where she might seek validation, but you're not dependent on her approval to maintain your emotional equilibrium. This approach doesn't mean you suppress all emotion. It means you manage it wisely, revealing just enough to let her know you're human, but not so much that you lose your air of mystery and strength. Just like the Stoics, you don't need to be emotionally exposed to be strong. Your ability to stay grounded and composed, even in the face of her emotional turbulence, is what will make her respect you and ultimately keep her interested. Remember, the Stoic way isn't about avoiding emotions altogether. It's about maintaining mastery over them, keeping her guessing, and pulling away at strategic moments. This doesn't make you cold. It makes you strong, composed, and in control, just as the Stoics would advise. And that's exactly what women find irresistible. So here's the unfiltered truth about taking control in relationships. It's not about being manipulative or mean. It's about understanding the dynamics and using them wisely. Relationships are a game of psychological power, and those who know how to play will always come out ahead. Now, if you look at this from a Stoic perspective, it's all about mastering your emotions and understanding the balance of power. The Stoics taught us that control over our inner world is key, whether it's in relationships, work, or life in general. It's about not being swayed by others' emotions or expectations and maintaining a calm, grounded presence. By keeping your emotions in check, you gain control over the situation, much like the Stoics did in their own lives, facing adversity with resilience and wisdom. In relationships, this means creating a dynamic where you are not emotionally dependent, but rather emotionally resilient and centered. This is how you build true strength and power, not by manipulating, but by staying in control of yourself and your actions. 2335. If this video opened your eyes, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights into the psychology of relationships. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Have you tried any of these techniques, or are you planning to? Remember, knowledge is power. Stay sharp, stay strategic, and take control of your life and relationships just like the Stoics did. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.